and they're worried that somebody that, like this communist from New York, someday gets elected. I can't believe that's happening. That's a terrible thing for our country, by the way. He's a communist. We're going to go to a communistic state. That's so bad for New York, but the rest of the country is revolting against it. But if somebody got elected, they're afraid that if this was taken off, well, we're going to guarantee it's never going to be taken off. And again, we're taking in think of this, hundreds of billions of dollars.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for stopping by and choosing to hang out with your host, the Conservative Bird, and me, Double D. And you're on the Brick Road Podcast.
Welcome back, everybody. How are we all doing today? We really appreciate you stopping by and hanging out. Also, before we get into everything, please make sure to hit the like, hit the share, hit the subscribe, and smash that notification. It's the easy and free way to help this channel grow as big as possible. Also, if you could, try to watch at least 60% of this video. That is the biggest way to help get us an algorithm. I don't, really appreciate it.
Yes, we definitely do greatly appreciate it, because the bigger this channel becomes, the more information we can bring to you.
Yep, and speaking of information, today we're going to do one on, we got a little bit mixed. So our basic topic is bringing socialism to the United States, and they're trying to do it on all levels, right? So they're testing with the mayor in NYC. They're testing here on a more local thing with our one of our districts with Tanam Shaw on an even more local level, meaning neighborhood instead of city.
Yeah.
So it seems like
right here at our door.
Exactly. So it seems like they're trying to infiltrate on the lowest means possible, and then they'll eventually work their way up and try and make us a socialist country for life.
I mean, dude, they're doing it. If you look at what's going on with Islam in this country, also, we're seeing more of a trend like Dearborn, Michigan, with their trends towards a Sharia style of, law. Well, they do that prayer 5 times a day with the alarms and the whole bit.
I do.
Mamdani is trying to do the same thing, but not with Islam. He's just trying to do it with socialism. Now, he's going by the guise of democratic socialism, but I think Cuomo described it best. He does say democratic socialism and Democrats are two different things. They are not the same thing. And I agree with that. I agree with that statement.
Okay.
But with that said, obviously Mamdani has a list of policies here that he wants to try to employ in New York City.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go over those with you real quick, and then we're gonna give you our take on it. We're not going to go through all of them. I know he's got like 10. They all have like 10. There's no need. We're going to go through the 3 or 4 most important ones, so that we do think affect, New Yorkers in particular, but there are also ideologies that can spread throughout the rest of the country.
Exactly.
Depending on the success or failure of New York under Mamdani.
Right, exactly. And we all know that places like New York, Chicago, California, things of that nature. Well, we'll say on a city, we'll say New York, Chicago, LA, things like that are testing grounds for things that could be implemented around the country for good. You know what I mean? Like things get done there and get tested there before anywhere else. Look how far gone California is, but look at the truck drivers that they just give randomly truck driving license to, and then they're out there killing people because they don't know what they're doing. You know what I mean? Look at all the homelessness in Los Angeles. There's literally human feces all over on the sidewalks. And I've had multiple people tell me this. Not just 1 or 2 people. Multiple people tell me you could literally walk around many streets of California and you'll find human feces just on the sidewalk. It's crazy.
Can I say something to that as a
Yeah.
follow-up to that?
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I was the last time I was in California, I believe was 2014. My daughter and I went out there for 4 days to Southern Cal. Now, I've been to San Diego before that, and that was right around 2010 or before. San Diego was beautiful. It was one of the cleanest cities I've ever been to.
Okay.
I have not been there since, but I have heard that they are also dealing with they're also dealing with a homeless issue. But Los Angeles to 2014, I can say with my own, actually, yeah, it was 2014, 2015. It was the year that Urban Meyer won the championship. He won the championship 3 months after that. So that would have been 2014. Dude, tent city down Venice Beach, probably 3 miles long. It was like one deep at that point, just one big, like 3 mile long homeless shelter,
Okay.
all blue tents all the way down. From my understanding today, it's 4 or 5 rows out now.
Right.
So that just means the waste, the garbage, the leftover, that just means there's probably 4 or 5 times more of it now.
And by
too.
garbage, we weren't talking about Gavin Newsom. That's a different level of garbage.
Yeah, no, we're talking about actual trash and unfortunately needles and literally feces on the freaking beach. So,
Right.
But with that said, Zoran Mamdani is trying to basically bring this socialist ideology. He wants to bring it to New York and he wants to spread it through the United States. Tan Mei Shaw, guys like him, they're starting that here in Cleveland.
And they're on a
like you were saying earlier.
Local
it's
level.
more of an infiltration than anything.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and go over some of Mondon. Actually, you know what? He's got a little quick video there that he has, right?
Yep.
You want to check out and see what he says there on that first video?
Yep. So one of the things he's talking about is his housing thing, is he wants to freeze the rent. We all know how bad that went during COVID, and we understand why it happened during COVID, because it just is such a drastic situation that nobody really knew what was going on at first, but it shouldn't be something that's implemented on a consistent basis. How are you going to expect these people to want to rent to people if you're going to be freezing the rent if they can't pay it?
This whole rent-free housing thing, they're talking about it being almost like a $9 million just right up front.
Yeah.
$9 million just right up the front. I mean, or was it 9 billion? It might have been 9 billion actually. Because obviously real estate, in New York City can go for $1 and $2 and $3 million.
Right.
And we're just talking about 2 and 3 bedroom apartments. So,
okay. So Zoran, he describes it himself right here. Well, let's see what he has to say about it.
Yeah.
I'm freezing your rent as the next mayor of New York City. Let's plunge into the details. More than 2 million New Yorkers live in rent-stabilized units, and their rents are set by the Rent Guidelines Board. The board is made up of 9 members, and the mayor appoints each one. Doing this. Eric Adams' board has raised the rent every year he's been in office. Makes sense for a guy who said, I am real estate. Currently, 8 of Adams' 9 appointees' terms are up and could be replaced tomorrow, and that's exactly what I would do. Rent freezes have happened before. De Blasio's board did it 3 times. I would do the same every year, only appointing those who understand that landlords are doing just fine. Last March, the board found that landlord incomes rose by nearly twice the increase of their expenses. The median income for a rent-stabilized household is $60,000 a year. Any rent hike could push them out of this city. For those landlords who need a little extra help, there's a city fund they can apply to. So here's to a new year, a new mayor, and the same rent.
All right, so the big question is,
here, hold on a minute.
How are they going to pay for that?
Well, let me say the quiet part out loud that he kind of said at the end right there, okay?
Yeah.
If landlords are having a problem making money, go ask the government for your money, right?
Yeah.
They're literally
they're
trying to keep everybody under their thumb to keep control of the situation instead of letting us be a free commerce, open market, I don't get it, dude. Like, there's no logic in this. Somebody has to pay for that eventually.
Well, it's going to be the taxpayers, and that's conveniently he wants to tax the 1% corporations. He wants to tax them.
If you're gonna tax these corporations, though, they're gonna leave.
Pretty much. I mean, he wants to raise their taxes, and like I said, it's 1% of the population, I guess, that are the corporate owners. But unless I misunderstood that, he's trying to tax them 1%. That makes no sense. So I'm going to say it's the 1% of corporate owners of New York City that he's going to chase away. Now, I think the reason he keeps making a big deal out of that 1% is he's trying to minimize their importance.
Right.
You notice that, right?
Yep.
That's what he's trying to do. So what's his next? So we know what he plans on doing. He wants to freeze rents and make housing more affordable. I don't know how he's going to make that more affordable by freezing rents. Again, it relies on the government handout for the landlord and now for the tenant.
Yeah,
so it sounds to me like it sounds to me like they've created 2 more victims.
Here's one that doesn't make sense to me, right? Cracking down on bad landlords. If somebody owns a house and somebody decides to rent it, that's between them. Whether somebody's a bad landlord or not, that's between the landlord and the tenant, right? If you think if you think that somebody's a bad landlord, don't rent from them. It's simple as that. And then they learn their lesson, and then over time they'll fix their house and make their house more livable and become better landlords. But if you're going to continue to sit here and rent from people who are known as slumlords, then you get what you deserve.
So let's see what he has to say on that, because that's a good. I'm curious. I'm curious to how he plans to implement his fixing the bad landlord thing, because that really depends on the individual type situation. And everybody in New York knows that their real estate is prime, and most of them are apartments and buildings.
Yeah.
So what's there to really fix? I mean, you know what? Let's hear him out. Let's see what he's got to say.
I'm standing here on West 83rd Street in front of a building owned by one of the worst landlords in New York City. It has racked up hundreds of code violations.
Hold on a minute, Double D. Hold on a minute, Double D. Did you see what I seen? Did you see what I seen? Yes or no?
The flags?
No, not the flags. On West 83rd Street in front of a building owned by one of the worst landlords in New York City. It is
that right there.
Oh, good call. Good catch.
Now we know why. Now we know why he's one of the worst landlords in New York City. This is the reason why, you guys. He's got a frickin' Trump sign in his window, so he's one of the worst landlords. See, you got to pay attention to the details sometimes, not all the time.
That was a good catch, Bird. That was a real good catch.
I noticed that.
No, seriously, that was. I didn't see that. I did not see that. I see it now. I see it clear as day. Wow, that was a good catch, Bird. That was good.
Thank you.
All right.
Racked up hundreds of code violations. After years of neglect and ongoing pressure from tenants, the city finally stepped in and sued the landlord. But even that didn't fix these issues. We are talking about a lack of heat, a lack of hot water, and instead...
Notice how the Trump sign stays in the picture the whole time.
Leaks, rats, a literal beehive in the wall. Housing isn't just more expensive than ever, it's falling apart. But what's Mayor Adams doing about this? The same thing as his real estate donors. Nothing. That's why I'm announcing a plan to overhaul the mayor's office to protect tenants, bringing code enforcement under one roof and making sure that agencies are working together to hold bad landlords accountable. Starting on day one, we will expand the city's special enforcement programs, doubling fines for hazardous violations and tripling them for conditions that are immediately dangerous. And when a really bad landlord like this
you're going to get a lot of pissed off landlords that aren't going to do any of this, and they're going to tell you to go F yourself.
What you're going to see is a lot of these buildings are going to go up for sale, dude, and they're going to saturate the market, and they're going to destroy the value. I know what he's doing.
He's trying to get BlackRock. He's trying to get BlackRock. He's trying to get BlackRock to buy these buildings. I see what's going on.
Yes, he is. He's trying to destroy the market.
This is 101 socialism, you guys. All right, just so you know, this is socialism 101 to try and get all the free market out No more free market. It's all corporate owned. BlackRock, all these companies want to come in, buy all these housings, and just and control the narrative. That's why if you own a house, keep your house. Don't sell it. Don't listen to these people. They're idiots. I get calls all the time, and I tell them, "Hey, give me $500,000. You can have my house." And they hang up on me because they know I'm not getting $500,000 for my house.
Refuses to fix it, the city's going to step in, make the repairs, and send them the bill. If that doesn't work, the city's taking over the building. We're putting the worst landlords out of business.
I think we got the idea, Bird. We know what he's trying to do.
We see what he's trying to do.
They're trying to take people's properties from them, and they're going to either do it by BlackRock, or they're going to do it by blackmail, or they're going to do it by just charging them so much and fining them so much that they just walk away.
Right.
But you're going to see right away, if this is his real plan. Honestly, the first two things. Well, we were going to pick three things, right?
We could go through a couple of different things. It's not a big deal.
These are all bad enough as it is.
I don't feel like climate's a special one. I don't care about the LGBTQ bullshit. Healthcare, that's whatever. Libraries, whatever. Small businesses. I do want to talk about the Trump
Let's go
proofing.
to Trump. Yeah, let's go to Trump proofing New York Senate.
Let's do that last. This is about. We can either talk about safety, or we can talk about one that I feel like we have a big concern about, especially in our neighborhood, with city-owned grocery stores.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, he definitely wants city-owned grocery stores. And if I'm correct, when Tanmay Shah's political strategist was knocking on our doors, he was talking the same thing too. And I think I brought up to him about the Kansas City experiment.
Hey, Double D.
Huh?
I want to be a millionaire.
So do I.
How great does that sound, right?
Well,
how great does it sound? I mean, doesn't it sound great? Things can sound great. That doesn't mean that it's the reality. And things being city-owned and affordable sounds great, but it's not reality. It's literally the government that just wants to keep you under their thumb as much as they can. So they want to control your eating. They want to control all your money. They want to control your businesses. They also want to come in here and buy our houses up and control the market and act like we're the problems, right? We're the problems, though. These fucking socialist scumbags come in here and want to take over our country, and we're the problem when we're against it? I don't get it.
You know, just like Tanmay Shah, too, who was also not born in America, I really, really think we got to start. If you're not born in the United States, you should not be able to hold political office. I'm sorry.
No, I 1,000% agree.
And I understand why the forefathers only did that for the presidency.
Right.
Because they knew what the presidency was the highest power in the land, and they didn't want a president who was going to favor another country. But they should have did that with all of them. Because
I think it should be.
I mean, Ilhan Omar is a great example of a politician in Washington who favors Somalia over the United States.
Hey, I'll tell you what, though. I seen that she went over to the UK and said something at least respectable about Trump, I guess. I was watching the other day, and then one of the people over there in the EU were just like, saying like, little shit about Trump, and she's like, hey, listen, you might not like what our president does, but when we're here, you're going to respect our president. And
Elon said that.
Yeah, and I was like, hey, that's commendable. At least she said, a broken clock can be right at least two times a day. So
yeah, she's just trying. She knows that the jig is up for her, so she's just doing whatever she can to relate now to hold on.
Yeah, for sure.
I know. I mean, honestly, Schumer was trying that a couple of weeks ago, but now he's just so pissed off that it didn't work out in his favor.
Yeah,
he's. I don't know. I don't even think he knows who he's aligned with now.
Yeah.
But you want to go ahead and let the clip roll on this and see what he has to say about the affordability thing?
Let's see what he says about this city-owned grocery stores.
Let's see where he's going with that.
Grocery prices are out of control. The cost of eggs and milk has skyrocketed. Some stores are even using
Mind you, before we get into it, I don't disagree with them about out of control prices. I don't disagree with them with the way prices are. But
dynamic pricing,
this isn't the
jacking
answer.
up the cost over the course of a day, depending on what they can get away with. It doesn't need to be this way. I'm Zahran Mamdani, and as mayor, I will create a network of city-owned grocery stores. It's like a public option for produce. We will
Okay, can I
redirect
say
city
something
funds.
real quick? I got to say this because I was watching his interview earlier, and he was saying 1 per borough. That would be 5, but he just listed 7 or 8.
Oof.
And he said a series or a list of stores, correct? I mean,
Yep.
basically that's what he said, right?
Yep, that is.
He created, and I saw more than 5. There's only 5 boroughs.
If I was the owner of this store and he was making a video like this in my grocery store, I would say, get the fuck out of here now.
Well, it's probably an Arab or an Indian or a foreign-owned store, and they don't understand half of what he's saying anyway.
Okay.
From corporate supermarkets to
He's
city-owned grocery
banking on
stores,
that.
whose mission is lower prices, not price gouging. These stores will operate without a profit motive or having to pay property taxes or rent, and will pass on those savings to you. They'll partner with small businesses and nearby
you're gonna
farms
pay
and sell
for
at
those.
wholesale prices.
That's
The job
not
of city
us.
government isn't to tinker around the edges while 1 in 4 children across our city go hungry.
Beat it, dude.
Wow.
All
Well, I think we know. It's very clear where Democratic Socialist Zoran Mandami lies. I mean, it's not a mystery.
So
He is borderline communist. There's no question about it.
it's so weird to me that a mayor of a city is willing to put Trump's name in a policy. Bro, these people are fucking obsessed.
Yes, that
Right?
is definitely called an obsession
So
for sure.
I'll read this one out since there's no video. This is in the words of Don't Mess with the Zoran. Donald Trump is tearing at the fabric of New York City in his second term. That's a lie. He has deployed ICE agents to pluck New Yorkers from their families. That's a lie. He's plucking illegal immigrants from the city. Another lie, he
Yes.
said. He has sent already high price skyrocketing with tariffs. Hey, tariffs might be a little high. These are all bargaining chips. We've made a lot of money from the tariffs over time. I think it's like $1.3 trillion already or something. Or what was it? I don't know the exact number.
And the stock market is at a record high today. by
Right,
the
stock
way.
market's record. Dude, I mean, these people are, they just lie and lie and lie.
Back in April, they were telling us it was going to crash by this time, and now its stock market's 2,000 points up, the highest it's been in years.
Andy has
So,
threatened vital
sorry,
social.
didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. You're good. You're explaining. That's fine. Andy has threatened vital social services that working New Yorkers rely on every day. Zoran Mandati will fight Trump's attempts to gouge the working class. What is he doing to gouge the working class? This dude literally went and worked at a McDonald's during his campaign. Such an idiot.
Well, the biggest thing that he's missing is Donald Trump is trying to create and bring jobs back to America.
Right.
How does that hurt workers when you're bringing the only workers who are hurting right now are the federal workers who relied on the taxpayer base to get their paychecks.
Yeah.
As far as the open market and manufacturing, they don't depend on that.
Right.
And what they really do depend on is lower costs. So that's the reason they're in other countries to begin with. So you raise the tariffs against those countries and give them tariffs and equalize it. Well, guess what you end up getting? A more equal trade.
Yep.
And that's where we're at. Madami's he's a socialist.
Yeah.
It's right there.
Okay,
It's right in the name.
so attempts at gouging the working class and deliver a city where everyone can afford a dignified lifestyle. But that's not what America's about, right? America is about the harder you work, the more you put into it, the more of a benefit you reap, you know? It's like if somebody's going out and working 20 to 30 hours a week at McDonald's, they don't deserve the same type of lifestyle as somebody climbing a telephone pole or putting a roof on a house or building a house or remodeling a house or painting a house. It's just not the same value of workmanship. You know what I'm saying? And that's what people don't understand, that life is not even. We're not all equal. Not everything's fair. You have to take life how it's given to you, and you have to make it work and mold it in your favor.
Well, I think the whole idea of Trump-proofing any city is a bullshit line. Anyway.
I think that's it.
I'm calling it what it is.
Yeah,
I'm calling
because
him out for it.
we
That's a
know,
bullshit line.
we know
it's a
this is,
bullshit line.
we know this has been a Democratic strategy since Trump has came into the spotlight of the political spotlight.
Since he came down the escalator. Since the day he came down the escalator.
Have you ever seen the episode of Family Guy when Lois Griffin was running for student council and all she had to do was say 9/11? It's almost like that. All they have to do is say Trump bad, and
that's it.
It's like
Orange man bad. Orange man bad. That's all they got to say.
It clicks in their brain that he could be doing something great for. It could be the country, the world, a community, and if you don't like him, you're just going to say that it's the worst thing ever, even though it could be the best thing ever.
So the bottom line is, and I think we gave Zoran, we gave the Zoran a little more than we probably should have because he doesn't really deserve all this attention. But he is the front runner. I mean, he right now is sitting at 43%. I believe Cuomo, who we're going to pull up next here, we're going to pull up his website. And right there on the issues. And let's see, what does Cuomo have? Now, Cuomo is in a distant second at 34%, I believe.
Okay.
So you've got Mamdani at 43, Cuomo at 34, and I believe Sliwa is at 19. Now, here's the weird part. When they were polling, if Cuomo was to drop out, Sliwa would only be down by 9%. But if Sliwa drops out, Cuomo is still behind Mamdani at 10%.
Okay, so even if Cuomo dropped out, Mamdani would still win, and even if Sliwa,
maybe no, because it would divide the vote,
yeah,
and it would put us within that margin of 9%.
I just feel like a lot of the people that vote for Cuomo would just go vote for Mamdani because it's still the Democrat.
And honestly, I'm looking at Cuomo's stuff here on the issues.
Yeah.
Education and childcare. What are the points to that? What are his main points there?
So we got reduce class size, secure state funding to be impelled to reduce class size law, so it's not unfunded mandate. Ensure the reduced class size law does not reduce the capacity of selective schools. So does that mean like less kids in one class?
That's
because
exactly what
I feel like that is a problem probably with the schools, is if you have too many kids in one class, it's harder to maintain them.
Well, yeah, so they'd have to build more schools. So he's promising education, more schools, and more child care. Obviously, there's students, too, who would take advantage of that child care because there are older students that have children of their own, usually babies. But so basically him and Zoran are basically on the same on that. What about the affordability section here?
Increase the supply of affordable housing, same thing as don't mess with the Zoran. Expand access to affordable health care. I don't understand what that means. We have access to it. We're trying to get rid of it to the illegals.
Whatever they say expanding, that's what they're talking about. They're talking about expanding it to future voters who may or may not be legal or illegal citizens in this country.
I don't understand how he's the lesser of two evils. This dude literally fucking stuck people in a nursing home and just a evil person. He's not the lesser of two evils. They're just as evil as each other.
The only difference between these two is the Zoran has a better smile. What does he say about, okay, where's the other one? There's the housing again, mental health and addiction and homelessness. This one I'm curious about. What's his ideas for that?
So he wants to expand access to mental health and substance use disorder service.
Okay, so he wants to create more clinics, expand how many people can actually qualify, I'm sure, under Medicaid.
Okay.
Okay. So, and then what else do we have there?
He wants to meet the mental health needs of children and adolescents.
Okay, so that takes us back to trans rights stuff. You know that's where that one's going.
Yeah.
Mental health you just said and I'm sure that includes transitioning children,
yep,
I'm sure.
I'll guarantee it does because we already know these fucking Democrats love seething at the mouth to do that.
And then what was his last?
Consistently enforce involuntary commitment laws.
Okay, what does that even mean?
Codify
What does that mean?
Codify in statute the existing standards that permit involuntary committing individuals who are a danger to themselves because they cannot meet their basic needs, ensure the judges, prosecutors, and defense lawyer consistently seek Article 730 mental health capacity. Or I'm sorry, competency.
You know what so you know what he's saying here, Bird, right?
Is this the whatchamacallit, and the Baker Act?
This is basically locking up the homeless because they're crazy. So instead of it just because a lot of those homeless get stuck in New York City too. Yeah, they think they're going to a new place to get a job. Most of them are immigrants. They think they're going to find their dreams, and then they find themselves on 53rd and 3rd, prostituting themselves or whatever it is they have to do, or worse, living in a blue tent somewhere. So basically what he's saying there is we're going to take the homeless and we're just going to recertify them as crazy, and we're going to put them in a home. And they're basically, that's what he's saying.
I mean, listen, let's be fair. Some of them some of them are crazy. Some of them are crazy.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't know if I disagree with all of that.
I don't know exactly the answer to it. But his last thing on that is reduce chronic street homelessness.
That's how they plan on doing it.
Health and wellness. I mean,
but that kind of goes with the other. We're
anti-Semitism, blah, blah,
combating anti-Semitism. That's another one of his. And I agree with him on the. I mean, he makes a comment when he's with. He very much. Well, he supports Israel. He does support Israel. I'm fine with that.
But I'm fine with that. But these people hide under anti-Semitism, and it's fucking annoying to me. I'm not like the Jewish hater or anything like that at all. But I see so much bullshit where, like, if you just try to, if you just criticize Ben Shapiro, he calls you an anti-Semite. And it's like, no, dude, we're allowed to just criticize each other and live and let live.
Well, that's the environment and climate we're in, where if you criticize anybody who's unlike you, you're either a racist, bigot, homophobe, transphobe, Nazi, KKK. I mean, it's because the labels have become so overused at this point that they're underwhelming. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
But anyway, I'm gonna give you my take on Cuomo, and I'm gonna let you do your take next. I personally, other than the name Democratic Socialist, I honestly don't think there's that big of a difference between him and Zoran Mondani, except for the government mandated, stores and the defund. I mean, I know Cuomo is for refunding the police, not defunding the police. But with that said, there's really not that much difference between the two.
I have a joke for you. What's the difference between a Democrat and a socialist?
What is the difference?
Nothing.
Fair enough. So what's your take on Cuomo?
He's a douchebag, a worthless piece of shit. I don't care who becomes mayor of New York because I don't go to New York anyway. I honestly hope Mondani wins so these people get a taste of their own medicine and we could all just laugh at him in Ohio with our Vivek Ramaswamy and say, ha ha, you guys suck. Enjoy your what's their governor's name over there?
Oh, Kathy Hochul.
Enjoy your fucking Kathy Hochul. Enjoy your Zoran Mondani. I hope they fucking take you guys for everything and you just live in shackles the rest of your life and Zoran becomes the mayor of New York forever.
Now, here's an interesting statistic, Bird, and I looked this one up earlier. It may have changed a little bit by now. I got this statistic off of Polymarket, I believe. So anyway, statistically, Zoran's got a 44 or 43%. Cuomo's at 34, and Slee was at 19% for the mayor, right? Mm-hmm. But if you were electing a governor, right now,
Cuomo would win it. Curtis Sliwa would win, like 52%.
54, I think it was, or was it 50? It might have been 52. It might have been 52.
Whatever it was,
Whatever
it was above 50. I know that.
Yes, and that's the irony. He can win the state, but he probably can't win the mayoral race.
And that goes to show.
Cares.
How many libtards live in New York, though? Like, it's bad. I mean, look at them. They love AOC. They love her.
You know what it tells me more than anything, though, despite the Democratic Socialists, is that Curtis Sliwa, he really loves New York, man. He really does.
Yeah. I mean,
he really loves New York.
I would hope that anybody running for a position in Congress for a city, if they live there, that they would do that because they at least love their city, would want to do things for their city to make their city better. Obviously they don't, but I would still hope that even a scumbag like AOC still loves New York. You know what I mean?
Now, she doesn't love America, I'll say that. But anyway, let's go ahead and let's see what Curtis Leeway has in his store. Now, I know that affordable housing is a big deal to him, too. That's a big deal to all New Yorkers, obviously. So, I mean, it's Sliwa's way of doing affordable housing is going to be different than rent freezes. Obviously, he is completely against.
I clicked this one, right, and I clicked the first thing, rebuilding the NYPD and cracking down on crime. That's
not
a bad start.
Not a bad start, and probably the most important one of them all, honestly.
Yeah.
So what does he intend on doing there?
He wants to hire 7,000 additional NYPD officers just to restore law and order across New York. Reinstate the NYPD anti-crime unit and conditions team to proactively prevent violence. It's not a bad thing.
No, not at all.
Expand the NYPD's gang unit to dismantle its violent street gangs and fight against efforts to eliminate gang database.
I mean, I don't see a problem with that. How come the other two candidates aren't suggesting this? I'll tell you why. Because they don't really support the police, despite what Cuomo says.
Right. So, enhancing proactive and intrusive policies, policing strategies to target illegal firearm carriers, repeated offenders, and violent criminals before crime occurs. It's not a bad idea. Improve deployment of police resources to ensure they are positioned where they needed most, reducing response time and deterring crime. That's for sure. I mean, reinstating the homeless outreach unit, that sounds like more of a logical thing than just saying we're going to lock them up and throw them away. You know what I mean?
That's kind of what Cuomo was saying, man.
Right.
Now I think Mondani and Curtis Sliwa might be a little more aligned on the homeless issue. They want to solve the homelessness, but one of them wants to do it by giving housing away. The other one just wants to do it by finding a way to make it so that they can qualify to be in affordable housing to begin with.
Right.
I hope I'm reading that right. Basically, the homelessness problem in New York is a problem. Something has got to be done. I mean, somewhere down the line, someone's got to figure it out.
Yeah. So that's all about the public safety, basically, right there.
Gotcha.
Affordability. Repealing the city of Yes, restoring local zoning control. The city of Yes is a top-down rezoning plan that ignores local community needs and infrastructure limitations. Curtis will repeal the city of Yes, prevent developer-driven overdevelopment that strains schools, transit. Restoring NYC's 28,000 plus vacant rent-controlled apartments.
Now, let me ask you this. So wait a minute. There's 28,000 vacant apartments?
I guess.
And they're rent controlled. So those all must be left over from the COVID then.
Possibly.
So if that's the case,
maybe
they have 28,000. Dude, they're already in a housing situation that's going to not. I don't see how the market's going to go up in their housing with Mamdani. Honestly, I'm not sure that no matter who goes in there, it's going to raise.
I like one thing that Sleewell says right here. No property
does he
tax.
say?
No property taxes for seniors 65 plus who make less than 250,000 a year. I like that.
Which, by the way, Bird, is the only tax that he can implement or take away as mayor. The mayor, Albany, makes all the other choices for all the taxation that takes place in the city. All those decisions are made in the 1970s. They were all switched over to Albany, which is where their capital is, and the state handles that. But when it comes to private property taxes, and he has control over that. And he wants to lower those taxes so that he can increase investment in more properties. And that would probably be how he plans on fixing the problem with the 28,000 vacant houses.
There you go. And right here, small property. So, we read about how Zorhan wants to vilify these small landlords, the people that own the buildings, and make them seem like they're slumlords when we don't really know, right? So right here, he will be small property owners who maintain the backbone of the NYC housing stock have been vilified and punished by policies enacted under Andrew Cuomo and Bill de Blasio. These laws made it hard for landlords to maintain buildings, rent out units, and protect tenants. I mean, that's what you need to do. Vilifying them and charging them triple fines and quadruple fines.
You're right.
That's not the move. The move is to make them feel more comfortable, for them to want to build and make their buildings more living.
Reinvest in their buildings.
Right.
If they can afford it. I mean, right now, if they're being property taxed to death, it's going to be a little hard to reinvest when whatever little bit of profit you make goes to the government.
Right.
It's almost like, well, I own a property in New York, therefore I should feel privileged.
Right.
Where's the privilege if you're not profiting? Where's your equity? You want to talk about, they want to always talk about equity. How about we talk about equity and profit? Equity in your home, equity in your investment. He's going to lower Mondani wants to lower the value of property, basically.
Here's a problem.
That's what Mondani wants to do. He wants to force the market down while maintaining those taxes. It's crazy, dude. Here's
a problem that we have a lot of places, here especially. Fixing squatter protections. Policies enacted under Cuomo's watch have blurred the lines between tenants and unlawful squatters. They do that here too, making it hard for property
everywhere.
Exactly, making it hard for property owners to remove illegal occupants and reclaim their homes. Curtis will advocate to reform that, clarify the law, and restore the rights of the rightful owners. That's how it should be. If somebody's in my home and I come home and they change my locks, it doesn't mean it's their home. It means I'm gonna break my fucking locks down and beat the shit out of them and throw them out my house. That's how that's gonna go.
Yeah, right now, it's right now in New York, that's virtually impossible, which is a shame.
Yeah.
So I'm glad Slee was on top of that. So the bottom line, Bird, Curtis Sliwa really is
the candidate.
He really is the true candidate that should be getting this position.
Yeah.
Why it's even a question, and why Cuomo didn't drop out, really is. It's because he's an arrogant asshole, to be honest.
Yeah.
He talks about Eric Adams putting his ego aside, and doing the best for New York, which I agree Eric Adams did do. But honestly, I think Eric had a better chance of beating Mondani than Cuomo did.
I do too. Right? I do too.
With that said, both of them should have dropped out. Both
Mondani, 1,000%.
Not Cuomo and Eric Adams should have took a back seat and let this be between the Republican and the Democrat.
Yep.
In this case, Democrat Socialist. But that's my take on it. And Curtis Sliwa, you're my choice, man.
Yeah.
I'm backing you. I wish I could go to New York and vote for you on November 4th. But all of the best I can do is try to convince our New York audience, as small as they may be, get out there and vote for Curtis Sliwa.
Yep.
Do the right thing, New York. Do the right thing.
Yep.
What do you say, Bird?
I mean, I agree. No, I can't do it. I want him to vote for Mondani. I want him to. I want them to get what they deserve. They love this guy. They've been endorsing him. They've been pushing for him. The governor there is pushing for him. AOC's pushing for him. Every single New Yorker, they want him. I want them to get him. I want him to be the mayor. I want him to.
Yeah, so you basically want to see him get a little poetic justice.
Yeah.
And sometimes the hardest lessons are our best lessons, which brings us to Cleveland, Ohio. Now, I don't think we're going to have time to discuss Bibb and Laverne Gore.
Yeah, that's all
and
right.
Honestly, I don't believe that they're the most important election in Cleveland coming up, to be honest.
No.
Tan May Shaw and Dan Kelly, we're in Ward 12. This is where the Brick Road actually exists. We're in this ward. So we do have a horse in this race, in this case. And Tan May Shaw is nothing more than, I would say, a Mondani replica.
Yeah.
What would you say, Bert? How would you describe it?
Yeah, I guess he's just the same. He's not even a replica. He's just the same person.
I mean, honestly, he don't even look that much differently, other than the glasses.
No.
Basically, Tan May Shaw is for the same things. He wants government-run stores. Isn't that what he said?
Yes.
Government-run stores. Obviously, I think rent hikes or rent control is one of the things that he has in mind.
He's a Democrat socialist, by the way.
He's a Democrat socialist and proudly admits it.
And
right
says
there.
it right here. As a Democratic socialist, Dan May has always been committed to fighting for the working class of Cleveland. That's a damn lie. That's not what.
That is a lie.
That is not the working class. That is the government class.
Yes, that's not the same thing. They could give a rat's behind about the guy who's up on fixing on your roof. They're more concerned with who's collecting their check from the federal government and who's not. And Tan May Shaw, he's making a lot of promises about affordable groceries.
And he can't keep them.
Affordable housing. And he can't. There's no way he can keep them.
No.
First of all, we live in Cleveland, and our market really does dictate what buys and sells.
Yep.
Dennis Kucinich took a shot at this years ago. It was shot down right away, but he really tried. He thought he was going to pull that off with rent freezes and price fixings on properties. But, well, this is the Midwest, and the market regulates itself. So Tan May Shaw basically is a repeat.
Did I tell you the other morning when I went to Dunkin' Donuts what I said to the person?
Was that the guy who had the Tan May Shaw out in his parking lot?
Well, it was a guy. It was like one of the workers. She brought me my food, and I was like, "Hey, I have a question." I was like, "Why do you have this guy's? Why do you guys have this? Why do you have this guy's sign up in your thing?" I was like, "He's against free market and capitalism." I was like, "It doesn't make any sense. That's what this business is all about. Is capitalism."
Right. He is definitely against that.
There's no
unapologetically against capitalism.
There's no like value to the company where like it's something that everybody needs. You know what I'm saying? Your company is based on capitalism, based on marketing, commercials, coupons, advertisement. It's based on capitalism. So why are you putting a sign like this up?
Oh, they don't.
In your neighborhood.
They don't. Because the owner is Indian, I guarantee.
Yeah, and that's what I said. And that's what I said to the lady.
That's the owner.
I said, I'll guarantee.
Well, if you're going to vote for your own race, how about put a Vivek Ramaswamy sign out there?
Right.
Vivek is more supportive of their business than Tan May Shaw.
Right. It's just crazy.
Put Vivek out there. I don't see a Vivek one out there because he has an R behind. See, Tan May Shaw, Indians and Pakistanis and Arabs will vote for him because
he's a socialist.
He's a Democrat.
He's a socialist.
But if you put an R behind his name, suddenly they don't want nothing to do with it.
Yep, exactly.
So, and that's basically what it comes down to.
So
now he's running against
Dan Kelly. This is who we're voting for right here.
Yes, we are endorsing Dan Kelly and Ward 12.
And believe me, I don't want to endorse any Democrats, but he is 1,000% lesser of the two evils. He's not
in this case,
he's not anti-police. He's not anti-safety. I don't think he's anti-gun. I don't know much about him. Other than
he's been our ward councilman for quite a while.
Right.
I mean, I think this is like his second or third term. So
yeah. So
I believe he's at least in his second term. I know that.
Right.
His background, obviously, he was born and raised in his neighborhood. Yeah. He grew up here like we did. He hasn't just been living here for 15 years, working as a lawyer, scamming out freaking, landlords like Tan May Shaw.
It's hard to know what their actual plans are on such a lower level. You know what I mean? Because there's only so much they could do. So it's like, hey, they can run on this, that, and the third. Like, for example, Tana May Shaw is running on affordable groceries. That's not even his.
There's nothing he can do to make that.
He has no say in that. Like, so why?
There's nothing he can do. I don't, because it's an empty promise, dude. That's what socialism. That's what democratic socialists do.
But like,
they make empty promises.
He doesn't. He can't even do nothing about that. Like, Zoran can actually do something about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because he'll be mayor, so he'll have a little bit more of.
Exactly. Unless he's in cahoots with Justin Bibb.
Or this is all about infiltration.
Yeah. On every level.
Remember, the Zoran started out as a state assemblyman in New York, a nobody state assemblyman.
Exactly.
Now he's more than likely going to be the mayor of New York. Tana May Shaw is just using the same thing. He's just getting in on the lower level, get his name out there, get people to believe him.
Yeah.
That's the most important part.
It's sad.
The only biggest difference between Tan May and Zoran that I've noticed, Tan May doesn't smile.
Yeah.
I've noticed that. He doesn't smile. He just seems like he's angry all the time.
Yeah. Which
look at him.
He's a socialist.
I mean,
he's a socialist. Of course he's angry.
So he hasn't learned how to fake the smile like the Zohan has.
Right.
But bottom line, he's still the same person. He's just trying to infiltrate, work his way up through the council, make his way to the council president, make his way to mayor one day.
Yeah.
And plus, Justin Bibb is a democratic socialist himself. He doesn't call himself one anymore.
But he is.
But he used to. He used to call himself one.
So they're probably in line in cahoots. So I think the biggest thing we could take away from tonight is fuck democratic socialism. Fuck socialism in general.
Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is private property is something that every American aspires to. That used to be considered the American. When you would ask, what's the American dream? Most people say, well, I'd love to own a house, have a family, have a decent job, raise some kids, maybe have some grandkids.
There you go.
That was called the American dream. Today, that's almost impossible to achieve. We were talking earlier about the cost of housing for Gen Z and for millennials in comparison to boomers and Gen Xers.
Yep.
As a Gen Xer, the average at the time when we were buying houses, when we were coming of age, the average was 2.5 times your salary. So if you made $50,000 a year, you bought a house for 125, right? But today it's 9 times that. So if you make $50,000, but the house costs $450,000, you're pretty much priced out of range.
Crazy.
And that obviously something's got to be done to fix that too.
Yeah.
So there is a certain part of affordable housing that I agree with, but I think the market should regulate it. That's all.
Yeah.
And I don't think Tan May Shaw or Zoran Mandami or even Andrew Cuomo is about letting the market do the regulation.
Right.
And that's where I stand on that.
Okay. Well, I mean, I've said all I had to say about it. I'm not for all this bullshit going on. Yeah, I've said it. You know, I think it's bullshit that these people are allowed to even be able to infiltrate our government, our country, anything. You know what I mean? It's bullshit. And you know, one day, true Americans that vote for this shit, they're gonna regret it. They're gonna regret it one day.
I would like to point out one more time that I honestly believe that we need to change our Constitution at both the federal and state level.
Yeah, you should have to be. You should be born in the United States.
You have to be born. You must. I don't care what nationality your family was from. If you're born in America, then yes. But if you're not born here, you should not be allowed to run for office. And,
I agree.
And this is the reason why, because now we have influences infiltrating our government that literally want to change the entire way our constitutions and our state constitutions work. And I'm not for that. Sorry.
Me either.
I'm not on board with that.
Not one
bit. I'm never going to be.
Yep.
And on that note, I mean, I guess that pretty much says it all. Did you want to close it out, Bert?
Yep, we're good. Everybody, thank you guys for stopping by, watching the video, hanging out with us. I already said it before. Hit the like, hit the share, hit the subscribe, smash the notification. I want to thank God, most importantly, because without him, none of this is possible. I want to thank the audience. I want to thank my family, and I want to thank Double D.
And as always, Bird, thank you for making this show happen every week. I love it when we have this. When it's the two of us, we get so much done. You know what I mean? We got a lot done today, and I love that. So thank you for making that happen.
Yes, sir.
Audience, as always, thanks for sticking around with us. I know sometimes it can get a little boring with the details, but at least you're informed. But most importantly, I want to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, for allowing me to be here today so that I could talk to y'all in the first place. And with that, good night, y'all.
All right, everybody, have a good one. Peace.